Connor. Chapter 3. Lynn turned around in her seat to look at Connor in the back seat of the car, sleeping silently with his mouth open and his bear in his lap. She turned to look out the front window again as Alex drove the car down the expressway. "He's asleep," Lynn said quietly. Alex inclined his head slightly as he glanced into the rearview mirror to see the sleeping boy. "Yes, he is," he said, eyes returning to the road. "Oh, come on now, Alex. Isn't he just the cutest thing you've ever seen?" Lynn said, gently hitting Alex on the arm. Alex looked at Connor again through the rearview mirror. Cute is in the eye of the beholder. Lynn gave him an evil eye. "Seriously," Alex sighed. "Lynn, Alex paused, choosing his words carefully. "He'd be cuter if I didn't know who he was." "What's that supposed to mean?" Lynn asked hotly. Alex hesitated, then said, "Look, your nephew is very cute, but—" "Your nephew?" Lynn repeated unbelievingly. "What do you mean, your nephew? Connor snorted at that moment, waking slightly before turning over and falling back to sleep. His bear balanced precariously on his knee. "Lynn," Alex continued quietly before she could say anything further, "substitute teaching doesn't pay very much. I still don't have very much, and I still can barely pay the bills." "Lynn," Alex said, cutting Lynn off as she tried to interrupt. "I live in an apartment. Do you think that's suitable enough?" "I live in one too," Lynn said quickly. Alex paused. That was a rhetorical question. He glanced in time to see Lynn stick out her tongue smugly at him. "Lynn, I can't do it." Silence. "I bet you didn't think of that when you were in college," Lynn added sardonically. Alex sighed deeply. "Take one more stab, will you?" "Alex, you were so... what's the word? Oh yeah, selfish." "I am not!" Alex said in recoil, spinning to her so violently that the car went halfway into the next lane. "Alex, don't crash us!" Lynn yelled as Alex jerked the wheel to place the car into its proper lane. Connor's bear, meanwhile, flew to the door and Connor sprung awake. "Mommy!" He wailed and tumbled over into the seat. "Mommy! And he began to cry loudly. "What's wrong with him?" Alex yelled as Lynn struggled to unsnap her seatbelt. She climbed up onto the center armrest and over into the back seat. "Should I pull over?" Alex screamed back to her as she sat next to Connor and pulled him into her arms. "No, keep driving, we'll be fine." Lynn called over Connor's pained screams. She pulled Connor into a loving and warm embrace, muffling his cries into her chest. She whispered softly into his ear for a while, stroking his hair and kissing his ear. Connor slowly calmed down. He was breathing heavily. Suddenly, he frantically reached his hands out, trying to grab something. Money! Where's money?" he asked frantically, and Lynn reached over to the floor and grabbed the stuffed bear. Connor took it immediately and locked it in a tight embrace, which soon included the sucking of the thumb. Alex was looking at signs out the window, turning into the next lane. "Is he alright back there?" Lynn looked up at Alex through his rearview mirror. "Like you care." Alex rolled his eyes as he turned the car onto the exit ramp onto Route 495. "I'd like to know what happened," he said. Lynn looked down at Connor and gently pulled his thumb out of his mouth. "One terrible night fright, apparently. He's asleep again." "What could have caused something that terrible?" Lynn looked up at Alex with all seriousness. "Probably you wheeling the car around like you did and the word crash screamed into the air." "By you," Alex added smugly, looking through the rearview mirror. Lynn licked her lips and admitted reluctantly, "By me." She slowly put Connor down on the back seat, buckled him in, and proceeded to climb back over the center armrest and into her seat. She straightened herself up and turned to Alex. "He's been prone to such night frights ever since his mother died. You might have known her. Her name was Lisa B. Wild." Alex shuddered and said, "Let's not talk about this right now." Lynn just stared at him in the most conspicuous manner. "You are so selfish, Lutheran," she said softly and seriously. "Have you ever considered that might be the reason why I broke up with you?" Lynn turned back to facing forward. Alex kept driving, but was stunned nonetheless. End chapter. He wailed and He tumbled over, yes. Alex yelled as Lynn struck. "Oh my God, I can't speak today."